park and we can't do that. I don't understand that. I just think that there's a possibility always to get something done, especially when you have room full of people like this that are ready to roll up their sleeves and help you get it done. So I think now, from the grassroots, we're going to line up. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Southern California. Moved here 30 years ago. I'm 60 years old, so I've spent half my life here. So I really feel like this is my home, and this is where I came to fruition to be who I am. I've had a business here for 20 years, right here in the redevelopment area. It's supposed to be the redevelopment area. The design district. So now it's gone from redevelopment to design. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that some of our dreams will finally come true in the next few years. My mother and father were hardworking people. My mother worked for North American Aviation, was the first woman to ever achieve a security clearance for that company. My father was a fisherman, worked on the ocean. So I grew up with two hardworking parents teaching me how to work. Every weekend I worked that galley on my father's boat. So I know how to work, and that's really what I'm about. I'm about working hard, and I want to work hard for all of you. Because that's really when I'm the happiest, is when I'm working hard on a project. And we have a lot of projects that we need to get completed around here. I've got some governmental experience. Served on LAFCO, Local Area Information Commission for the state, Clear Lake Advisory Committee. I've spearheaded a lot of projects, the Joshua Project. I was a food coordinator for the Emergency Warming Center this year. Thank you. And I'd like to see us continuing on in that process as far as our homeless. Our homeless are something that they're not going to go away. A lot of them are vets, and it's just shameful that in this huge county that we don't have a shelter at this point. We really need to stand our ground as a community and make sure that a shelter happens for our homeless, because it could be me or you or anybody in this room can become homeless. And so we need to really focus on that for all of us and for the people that are homeless. That's a rough road to go. I'm concerned about our seniors in this community because we're not ADA compliant. You can't walk down the street. So if you're a senior citizen, if you're pretty housebound, it's really hard. I know because I walk from my place of business to City Hall, and it's quite the journey, and it's a little bit dangerous. So I'm concerned about our citizens being housebound because we just don't really have the safe way to just take a nice walk. Nice. Youth programs, that's another one. You know, our youth programs seem to just, they kind of go and then they stop, and they go and they stop, and so we really need some consistency in youth programs. Transitional housing, that's something I'm always going to be an advocate for, because our prisons are too full, and we can't just shoot somebody out of the prison and expect them to do just fine. They're not going to. They're going to end right back up, and it's just a circle. We're not making progress. So we need transitional housing. I'll always be an advocate for transitional housing. And our environment, that's huge, because we're all looking at this lake, and we know that we all need to be part of the solution. It's not something we can just fix or make happen. It has to be all of us making sure that we don't wash phosphates into the sewer, and that we look at our bottles of shampoo and things and try to buy phosphate-free whenever possible. So there's a lot of things just as individuals and as community members that we can do to heal our lake, and not just always put it on the state or on the government, but as each and every one of us come back to the fruition of what's going on with the lake. It's going to take all of us to heal our lake, because all of us create part of the world. So I want to stay active and involved in this community, and that's why I'm running. I love serving you. I've enjoyed the last 4 years, even though you know I've taken some hard blows. I've showed that I am resilient, and if I have a cause, I will get back up and keep moving forward. The marijuana thing. I'm an advocate for patient rights. I'm not an advocate for big illegal grows in our neighborhoods. I think that every patient has the right to grow their marijuana, but I don't think we should have illegal grows in our neighborhoods. So
I know.
Woohoo! I'll keep it short. I noticed we have a couple other candidates in the room. I think John Brunson's here, and also Quincy Jackson is here. Quincy is running for city council. Is John still here? And John Brunson for District 3 supervisor. This is a really friendly group, so I'd like to give each one of them the opportunity to introduce themselves. I'll let John go first, and then we'll let Quincy introduce himself.
Go ahead, Quincy.
Well, hi, nice to meet you folks. I'm Quincy Jackson. Decided to run for city council here because, as we all know, living in Clear Lake, we need change. And what I want to do is bring responsive leadership here, listen to the citizens, not my ideal, but what the people of Clear Lake want. That's my main goal here. We do have a problem with marijuana. It is a big issue. We need to address the marijuana in the community groundies here. And I agree exactly with Ms. Spittler here. We need to work on patient rights and get rid of the illegal grows and a lot of the cartels that people are concerned about here. I also am a business owner here. I've been in the Lake County business owner here for about 7 years now. I'm also a private pilot here. I fly all the time. So you see that little green Piper flying over Clear Lake? That's me.
It's like the sheriff.
I do that quite a bit. Family, been born and raised in politics, Democrat my whole life. Grew up in the Midwest, Ohio. So, and I just want to serve here. I got some ideas about how we can improve our infrastructure, also how we can bring the Chamber of Commerce and get it a part of the community here. I'm also recently on the board of the Chamber of Commerce here at the City of Clear Lake. And I look forward to your vote in November. Thank you.
Good job, Quincy. My name is John Brosnan, and I am running for District 3 Supervisor. And for those of you that do not know where District 3 is, it's the corridor of I-20 going from county to county. That's from Mendocino County to Colusa County. It's also the largest landmass and the biggest portion of responsibility to the watershed, to ensuring our lake from further damage from sediment and phosphate overgrowth. My position and how I got here was simply friends of the community had asked me if I would run for supervisor when Denise Rushing threw her hat in or her towel in and decided she wasn't going to run again. I still don't have a campaign manager. I still don't have a campaign team. I did the primary by knocking on doors and talking to people. I'm better at talking at one-on-one with people than I am in a large group. I've been accused of not having bullet points and not addressing specific issues to give some people to get their teeth to sink into. But that will change. I've got a pamphlet that has all the little bullet points for everybody, and then you can ask me the questions that you think are necessary. If I can remember some of the bullet points, they are as follows. The lake, what Jeri mentioned, what Quincy was talking about was cannabis and where does it find its place? What place does cannabis have in this community now and in the near future, 2000, more than likely 17, after it's passed, it will become legal and we'll have to deal with it whether we like it or not. So we're going to have to address the issue of cannabis, medical or recreational, in a way where everybody benefits, everybody prospers. The reason I got involved with the cannabis activity group back in, 3 years ago with Measure D is that I really felt that if this agricultural product got into the hands of the wrong people, corporate America, that we would not see any of the return on that. Now, I would like to see when cannabis becomes legal, and medical cannabis currently, we have a big issue going on right now with the ordinance and Measure N and some of the sweeps that have been done recently. And that's a civil rights matter, but there's also language in the current ordinance that needs to be contested and adjudicated to understand that whether or not something is an abatement process or summarily abated, which gives the agency at hand the right to choose there and then whether or not they feel it's a summarily abatement, meaning they can chop it down. The idea of having transitional housing for people that come, inmates that come out of the county jail, I would say that's a great idea. It's something that I would support, but I would also like to try to nip it at the bud before they get to county jail, to have some sort of post-traumatic stress disorder treatment centers versus simply alcoholic treatment centers or drug centers, because at the top of the iceberg of drug addiction and alcoholism is post-traumatic stress disorders, things that we all experience in our family of origin as children and sometimes generationally, that puts us into traumatic situations where we cannot function. We can't even function what we call appropriately in school. So I would like to address that, and I don't think that our treatment centers necessarily have to be nonprofit. I'm really a capitalist at heart. I'm a Democrat at heart. And I believe in business, and I believe that we can also invest economically in the future of the citizens here to where we can actually get a return for our investment, demonstrating what capitalism is all about, showing the people we have plenty of resources here. We have ranches, we have houses that are empty, that are sitting there empty, begging. We could develop a corporation, a local corporation, where people could buy these properties. We could set up what I would call 90-day treatment centers, 18-month long-term satellite housing, and matriculate these people back into the community. Because when I was working here, building a gas station over here on Shell Boulevard, or Shell gas station down here on Lakefront Boulevard here, Lakeshore Boulevard here, thank you. I was actually worried about that, I didn't know if I did the right name. The Lakeshore Boulevard here.